Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. I actually just recently released my new Eternal sample pack. It's completely free to download and to use for you guys. So make sure if you want to check out the sample pack, just use the first link down below. And like I said, it's completely free. So if you guys want to send me back some beats you made with the samples, make sure you guys just send me a DM on Instagram with your beat. I'm super excited to hear what you guys can make. I've actually even made some guitar loops with my own guitar, which I actually live recorded for you guys. So it's super authentic and it has some crazy sounding samples. So since today I'm just feeling like making a beat for you guys, I'm actually going to use one of the samples from the pack, and then I'm going to show you guys how you can have some crazy drum bounce on it. So here is the Eternal sample pack. It actually has 10 samples made by me. Of course, they are all actually labeled by BPM and key, so you can even stretch them or flip them, cut them up, whatever you want to do with them. But I'm just going to quickly preview some of the samples we have in the pack. But for this video, I actually want to use this first cactus sample right here. It just sounds crazy on the preview. So I'm actually just going to drag this one in real quick. So as it says here, the BPM is 125. And this is how the sample sounds. So as you guys can see, I have a structure right here with the sub bass, and I've actually also cut this part up right here where it's the same section just without the sub bass, just in case you guys like the structure and you just want to use that part. But as always, I leave markers on the stems right here, so it's actually super easy for you guys to use if you want your own structure. Just use the slice tool and just slice it on each mark right here. Then if you want to use the stems, you can obviously just line them up like this and it should be all good. So I'm just going to have each stem laid out like this, and then I'm already thinking about the structure I want for the beat. So for this one, I definitely want to start with the sub bass, and then I'm going to cut it out for the hook. Then on the first part of the hook right here, I'm just going to leave out the flute and have the flute come in on the second part. So that's pretty much the main idea I have for the structure. So now I can just show you guys how you can add some crazy bounce. So when it comes to the drum sounds I'm using, all the sounds are coming from my No Limit drum kit. So make sure you guys just check that out if you want to use the same drum sounds as me. This sample right here actually has like a crazy Gunna type of vibe. So I'm definitely going to go for a drum bounce with a bit more space. So I'm actually going to start off with this fresh open hat right here. Just put that on the first hit right here. Then for the clap, I'm going to go for this go-to clap right here. So a cool trick you guys can do on the claps, instead of having this normal bounce we have right here, I'm gonna leave it normal in the first part, but on this second part right here, I'm actually just leaving a clap in between these last two right here. But make sure you guys put the velocity a bit down so it doesn't hit too hard. So now we definitely need some hi-hats. As for the hi-hats, I'm actually gonna go with this attack one right here. You want to have something that's a bit more powerful and that has a bit more of a darker sound to it as well. So since the melody is so bouncy and fills out a ton, I definitely want to have a lot of space between the hi-hats. So for this one, I definitely don't want to have too much going on. So we can start off with something like this. Maybe a roll right here. Then I'm going to go to this magnet tool right here and just hit third beat. When you're in third beat, you can definitely have some cool hi-hat patterns. So I'm actually going to go for some hi-hats down here and see how this sounds. So this hi-hat pattern right here actually sounds super nice with the guitar, but I definitely want to switch it up a bit more on this second part just to make it somewhat more busy. So I'm actually just going to see if we can add some more lower notes, but make them roll a bit more. Maybe something like this. I really like how this clap right here hits right before the hi-hat. Another cool trick you guys can do on the hi-hats is actually go to this brush tool right here. And if you want to lower some of the notes but just keep them in the same place, just hold shift on your keyboard and just right click on your mouse. It's actually just going to put down to the note you have it on. So I'm just going to adjust some of the velocities on these hi-hats and we'll see how this sounds. So I definitely like how it sounds now, but I think I'm going to add yet another hi-hat just so we can spice it up a bit more. So for the second one, I think I'm gonna go with this honey one right here. It's a bit more of a like boom bap type of hi-hat, but I'm not gonna use it too much. It's just gonna be to spice up the hi-hat pattern a tiny bit. It's just like a tiny detail. So I actually want to add one more open hat in this one. So I think I'm gonna go with this start one right here. Maybe we can have it here. Yeah, that's perfect. So if you guys are actually struggling a bit with the bounce on the drums, you should definitely add some perks here and there. Just please make sure you don't overdo it with the perks. So don't put it over like the whole channel rack. Just put it like somewhere like this, maybe something like this too, just so it adds a bit more movement and some bounce to the drums. Perfect. You can just hear it's a tiny detail. It's like a tiny detail, but it definitely adds a lot to the bounce. When it actually all comes together, it's definitely a big improvement for the drums. So now let me just add a snare. I'm gonna go with this Drake snare in my drum kit. So I'll just see if we can do like a roll on this last part right here. Nothing too much, just something that's actually gonna add some bounce to the last part. So let's see how it sounds. Yeah, that's perfect. So now it's actually pretty much time for the 808. But before I do the 808, I definitely want to cut out the low end from the melody, just so the 808 and the low end in the melody don't clash too much. So since I have a sub bass in the first spot, I just want to go to this sample right here and click make unique. That's basically going to make the sub bass unique right here. So I'm just going to go and put this on track 2. So now since the sub bass is on insert 2 and the rest of the melody is on 1, you can just put the EQ on the 1. Then we just do a low cut right here. And you can hear it doesn't remove the sub bass. So this should be perfect. So I'm actually just going to use this 808 right here. I'm actually just going to turn out the out knob a bit and boost it up so it's nice and punchy. So for the 808, I definitely want to go for a cool and catchy bounce. But since the guitar melody is riding the whole beat, you definitely want to leave some space between the 808 hits. So for this first part, I'm actually just going to go with like maybe 1 or 2 hits at most. And then for the second part right here, I think we can make it a bit more busy. Then for the second part right here, I think I'm just going to add a triplet at the start. It's going to be kind of unexpected, but it's still going to leave a lot of bounce and it's going to hit super hard as well. So we can do something like this maybe and then have it hit right here. So the way you do this, you just go into the third beat again and then you just make sure your 808 hits on the first 2 squares right here like this. And I'm on purpose gonna leave some space right here and we can maybe have it hit right here again. See how that sounds? Woo! This roll right here definitely goes super crazy. That's a super nice trick you guys can use on your 808 bounce. Key to this sounding good is definitely the hi-hats we have right here. Since they're so spaced out but definitely hit on the right places, it adds to the whole drum bounce. Now we definitely want to add a kick to that 808. So I'm just going to go to my kicks right here and use this love kick. So I'm just leaving it on the first hit. Now let me just quickly go through the arrangement. Alright, so for the intro right here, I'm actually having all the sounds from the sample playing. So we have the sub bass and we also have the flute. But with the flute, I actually pitched it down a whole octave. So it sounds a bit more mellow and a bit darker in the intro. Then for the hook, we just remove the sub bass and the flute. Then for the second part of the hook, we're definitely bringing back the flute. And then we have it pitched normally, as you can see right here. Then for the start of the verse, we might actually remove some sounds, just having the guitar playing with the texture. Then on the second part on the verse, we just bring back the same elements from the hook, and on the bridge we just bring back the same elements from the intro. So it's going to be a bit repeating, but on the second part of the hook I switch out the triplet bounce on the 808 and have this standard bounce right here. So the triplet doesn't come in all the time. Then we just bring back the same hook and paste this over so we have the same structure throughout the whole beat. So I'm quickly just going to put all the things together and then we'll have a listen to the final beat. So we have the intro with the low flute. My tag right here.
Shut up, Marco.
And a riser. All the drums come in. Oof. That triplet on the 808 goes crazy. Now the flute comes in. Here we have a standard bounce. Now we go to the guitar. A delay drop right there. Now we just bring back all the elements again. The bounce is crazy, guys. Now just a bridge right here.